And welcome into this edition of ACAP Today for the week of April 17th, 2023. I'm Jason Parent with Aroostook County Action Program. On this week's edition of ACAP Today, it's been a heck of a heating season. Many people have struggled with paying the expense to heat their homes, and thank goodness ACAP's Home Energy Assistance Program team has been there for thousands of county households. We're going to find out just how many households we've served this heating season. We're going to talk about the early ending of the Home Energy Assistance Program for this season, get some clarity around that, and about the fact that when we might be back in business in terms of taking applications for the next heating season. We're going to clarify all of that with three of our team members from the energy programs here at ACAP in just a little bit. But before we get to that, we're first going to get to, as we do at each point at the beginning of our broadcast, the news and information that you can use again for this, the 17th of April, the week of the 17th of April, 2023. We begin in the news and information that you can use by sharing with you that this Saturday, April 22nd, is one of the two National Drug Take-Back Days. Aroostook County will be honoring that, as well as across the country. There's one in the fall, and this is the springtime event. Formally, it will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., but we do remind you that you can drop off your unwanted or unused medications at any Aroostook County Police Department at times and days outside of this. You can certainly contact your local police department as to when your medications or when they're accepting medications to be dropped off. You can also visit our prevention and wellness website at acap-me.org/program/prevention wellness, or just navigate to the prevention and wellness programs on our page to find out what hours might be at a local police station for taking unused or unwanted medications. But this Saturday between 10 and 2 p.m., police departments across the country will be open to take your unused and unwanted prescription drugs. We are also reminding folks out there that if you do receive an envelope in the mail with a blue block, such as the one pictured here on your screen, and you are a MaineCare customer, it is time to update your contact information because it is time to renew. If it's blue, it's time to renew. You can visit mymainconnection.gov or renew by phone at 855-797-4357. Now, many people will be receiving this in the mail as a result of the emergency pandemic era coming to an end. Which means that some households will no longer be eligible for MaineCare coverage. Now, for those who are not, there is a resource and a recourse, and it's through coverme.gov, Maine's Affordable Healthcare Marketplace. And a qualifying event is the loss of comprehensive health insurance, including the loss of MaineCare. So if you do find yourself in a position where MaineCare, you're no longer going to be eligible for MaineCare, we want you to contact us because we have ACAP health insurance marketplace navigators that can help you navigate coverme.gov and find an affordable health option for you. So please do contact us if you find yourself in the position where you're without health insurance, or if you're in any of the other qualifying life events listed there on your screen and are looking for health insurance coverage. The fact that folks are also seeing some cutbacks in their SNAP benefits across Aroostook County as a result of pandemic funding coming to a close is causing us to remind you again about the community cupboards that are located across Aroostook County. The one photographed here is from ACAP 771 Main Street Presque Isle facility near Walmart, but there are some across Aroostook County in various locations. If you are in need of food assistance, we do have a food resource guide. There are copies of that available in the community cupboard, but it can also be found on the news and publications page on the ACAP website. These community cupboards operate on a give what you can, take what you need principle. So if you have the availability to help drop off non-perishable items, food items in the community cupboards in your local community, we certainly would appreciate that, as the need for the community cupboards at this point is great. But again, give what you can, take what you need. We are also encouraging folks who are looking right now to stretch those dollars and want to stay healthy on a budget, that Maine SNAP Ed program, of which ACAP is a local resource and a local provider of these services, does offer yummy recipes and helpful tips that can be sent right to your phone. You can sign up today online at mainsnaped.org. You can also reach out to us here at ACAP, and one of our SNAP Ed educators can connect with you and provide you with printed resources, or even sit down with you about healthy eating on a budget. And we know many people are trying trying to stretch their dollars. And as we come into the summer season with more fruits and vegetables being made available, certainly the SNAP Ed team can be helpful to you in that regard. We are also reminding folks that Maine's Workforce Collaborative, which includes ACAP, are offering online workshops for individuals seeking to upscale their employment or to get into employment. These workshops include interviewing tips and tricks, making career choices, resume and cover letter development, among others. You can find the registration page on the workforce development part of the ACAP website. We encourage you to do that. And these, again, are offered free of charge and remotely, and you can do them from the comfort of your own home. COVID-19 vaccines and tests continue to be available for folks age 6 months or older. If you need assistance registering for a vaccine appointment and cannot find it or cannot need help navigating the maine.gov website, you can call us at 764-3721 and our receptionist can help you with that. We're also reminding folks that there are 2 sites available to get free COVID tests sent to your home. That's covidtest.gov and accesscovidtest.org. We also have a limited supply of those at our ACAP main offices in Presque Isle, Fort Kent, Madawaska, and Holton. And at this point in time, if you are in need of any other assistance, we haven't talked about nearly all of our programs here on this program, please do reach out to us at 764-3721. We have navigators who can help assess what your needs are and connect you with services, whether they're here in the agency or outside of our agency with some of our partner agencies. They can help you, point you in the right direction. And that's this week's news and information that you can use again for the week of the 17th of April, 2023. I'm pleased now to welcome to our program 3 individuals who have been helping people stay warm in their homes this winter. They're 3 members of our energy team here at ACAP. From left to right on the screen there is Becky Bell. Becky, welcome to this edition of ACAP Today, and can I also extend my congratulations to you on your recent promotion as our Manager of Energy Programs. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you, Jason.
And joining Becky, next to Becky in the center there is Greta Power, a program associate, and Nicole Farrow, who's also a program associate and who have done some tremendous work in this past season and are continuing to do that work as they help connect more people to energy resources in our community. So I'm going to start with you, Becky, so as our new manager, to sort of lay the land down for people and let people know, where do we currently stand right now? I know that last week was an important week in terms of this season for the home energy assistance program, but where do things stand right now with energy programs here in Aroostook County?
Well, last week was the end of the season for us for HEAP. We still have some work dollars left that we are helping people with, and we've just had a banner year here, so.
It has. Maybe you can share with us. I know we've served a really high number of folks. How many folks have we been able to process this year through this?
We have served 7,100 people, which is up significantly from last year.
Great. So what happens now for folks? My goodness, it's still thermostat turning up time here in Aroostook County, and folks might find themselves, especially with the price of oil and other heating sources being relatively high right now. What happens if folks find themselves in need of heating assistance and they say, gosh, there's no home energy assistance program for a bit?
Well, they can call us, and we have a couple different methods of ways to help people, and just give us a call. We'd be glad to help out.
So one of those programs that we want to talk about today was passed by the legislature as part of the LD3 package. And Becky mentioned what was called the WERP program in her first comments. It stands for Winter Energy Relief Program. Greta, I'm going to bring up on the screen some information about the Winter Energy Relief Program and ask that you talk a little bit about what the WERP program is all about and how folks can access it.
Well, the WARP program was initially for people that were over the eligibility mark for HEAP. So it consists of $800 that they can apply for heating assistance.
And what do they need to do in order to apply for that? What's the best avenue to take?
They can go right to the window and they can apply at that point in time. It only takes a few minutes to apply for the WARP program.
And then what happens? You mentioned an $800 benefit. It doesn't go directly to the individual, does it?
No, it does not. It goes to whoever their vendor is, whether it is electric or oil or kerosene. It'll go directly to them and be used for that purpose.
And it serves as a credit on their fuel vendor account, correct?
That is correct.
Right. Nicole, I know that you and Greta, Becky as well, have been processing many applications this year. Becky shared the high number that we have had this season. What has this season been like for you and your colleagues on the Home Energy Assistance Program team here at ACAP?
It has been a very, very busy season. Right in the heat of the season, the number of files that were coming in from our outside intakes was just, there was a lot. But we made it through, thank God. But yeah, we've served a lot of people, and it's always good to be in that, just helping a lot of people. I love it. So.
Now, I know one of the things that you've all experienced this season, because we've had so many more individuals that have applied, is I think a lot of folks out there are surprised. Maybe they tried applying for the Home Energy Assistance Program a number of years ago before some of the income eligibility guidelines had changed, and some of the processing guidelines have changed as well on that. But a lot of folks that we were able to bring into the program this year were quite surprised that they actually qualified for the program, correct?
Yes, we've had a lot of new applicants this year, people that have never applied. Some people didn't even know what HEAP was. And I was like, oh my goodness. But they qualified. So, and that was the shocking part to them. And I was like, well, it's really great to see a lot of new applicants. So that was a bonus this year.
Becky, the Home Energy Assistance Program really isn't only about providing energy assistance, is that it really is a program that opens quite a few doors for households across Aroostook County to be able to look at eligibility for other programs and services that they might need, correct?
That is correct. We can do references to other programs from within when they are certified for HEAP. So once their file is certified, they get a benefit. We could refer them over to the home side where they would do insulation and furnace work. They could be referred to WIC. If they have small children, that could be helpful to them. We just have a whole host of programs to help.
Now, Greta, if you could talk about what some of the common questions are that you have or that you've addressed with customers in the program as they apply or are questioning whether they're even eligible or not, because oftentimes many folks just see like an income eligibility guideline and think, gosh, I make a little bit more than that, but it's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't options that you potentially might qualify. So talk folks through sort of those questions and that process.
There are many options for them that they are not even aware of. I usually give out our directory every time. They are shocked at the number of things that are available. But the first question that they usually ask is, am I eligible? And they are surprised at the eligibility where the dollar is for them, so that they will be able to be eligible for HEAP. It really helped a lot this year with having the taxes done within our building. A lot of those people, if it would have been done somewhere else, we would have lost them. We would tell them about it, but after they walk out the door, it's over with. But if we can keep them within house and have them apply right there on the spot, then it works well for them.
And talk about some of the things that can be sort of deducted from the sort of on the surface income, if you will, that folks don't necessarily think of and maybe discount themselves for eligibility without even having the opportunity to go through an interview with you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm going to answer that as a certifier. We can deduct 12 months worth of medical deductions. And that has made a lot of people qualify. We also have the categorically eligible new programs of SNAP and TANF, which you don't even have to tell us what your income is, as long as you have a SNAP letter or a TANF letter. You bring it in when you have your appointment, and you're automatically eligible to get a benefit.
That's wonderful. Now, Becky, in addition to that, you mentioned about connecting people with other programs and services, but the look back is different as well. It used to be a longer period that you look back for income, but really they're only looking back at a month's worth of income. Is that correct?
We go with 1 month or 30 days, whichever is better for the applicant. And that's been a big help as well, because we used to, a couple of years ago, we were doing 3 months at a time.
So, and Nicole, that really allows a household that's maybe had something that's happened to them, like an illness, and they were out of work with no salary for a couple of weeks or things of that nature, to really be able to come in the month following that and apply for assistance and qualify where they might not have otherwise a couple of months prior.
That definitely helps them. Yeah, if they've been out of work, you know, and the income definitely helps them, especially with lack of, they're out of work.
Now, I know one of the other things that you've done, Nicole, in your work sort of as a processor, helping to get people's documents in to the agency so that you can then work towards certification. What are some things that people need to keep in mind as we look forward to another HEAP season, to remember these are the things that we need to get from you, and unless, as Becky pointed out, they're SNAP or TANF eligible, but they're applying again for a new season? What are some of the critical documents that they need to be mindful of to have?
Critical documents are always, you know, photo ID, social security cards for everybody in the household, a light bill, which if they don't have that, we are able to get that. But income documentation, we definitely need that. If they have SNAP or TANF, they need to get us that. Their fuel account numbers, their vendor information. If they do rent, then we would need their landlord information as well. So there's a lot of information that we're not able to get, that they're the ones that they have to get it to us.
Great. Now, Becky, talk about the process once folks would sit down with someone like Greta to do their initial interview and get scheduled for that. What happens from there, and when can folks expect a notification of whether they're eligible and get an award in a typical year? Because we're not at this point in this season right now accepting new applications, but as we move forward.
Well, when they go and see Greta and have their intake done, she will ask them if they have their documents. If they have only a few of them, she will give them a reminder form to take home with them with what we still need. Then we will take the file over to the proofing section, and that's when Nicole picks it up, and she calls the client to make sure that they're aware of what they need to bring in. So we want to do that before the denial or void time, and process it. And usually it will take a 4 to 6 week period before they find out. And it was a little bit longer this year. We had a few bumps at the beginning of the season, but we ironed those out, and we're going much faster now.
And so after 4 to 6 weeks, typically what happens for most folks?
What would happen is we would certify the file. The benefit would go to their electric company, their fuel company, the pellet company, the wood vendor, you know, whatever they use for fuel. And then they would get a letter from Maine State Housing. So if they happen to call in the meantime, and, you know, we would let them know if they need fuel before that gets to the fuel company. If we've just certified it today and they need fuel, we can call in and upfront and tell the fuel company that they have X amount of dollars to use. And then the fuel company will take the paperwork we send and deliver the fuel to the client and wait for the money to come in.
Now, Greta, a lot of folks say, gosh, my heat's included in my rent, so I must not qualify for this. But that's not necessarily true, is it?
That isn't true. If their heat is included in their rent, and they are not subsidized. They can get a direct check for that heating portion of their rent. Because their heat is included in the rent, portion of that is set aside for heat. So therefore, they can get a direct check for that.
And then, so unlike a vendor getting a supplement, they would get that,
Correct.
they'd be able to use those
Correct.
to help pay their rent. Okay, so that's one of the, I think, biggest misnomers for folks out there. Like, I don't pay heating bill because it's included in my rent. So here's let's clear that one up for folks. There is that what we refer to, Becky, a lot of folks refer to it as heat and eat, or that's something separate, isn't it?
The heat and eat is something separate. That is a subsidized person. A person who lives in subsidized housing, they don't pay for their heat or their electricity. But the benefit for them to put in an application is that when you're accepted and certified, you will get a raise in your SNAP benefits. That's why they call it the heat and eat program.
So it's important that folks understand that, because we know that in the past, some folks have said, gosh, if I apply for HEAP, my SNAP benefit's going to go down. And it's actually the opposite. That's true. It's oftentimes an increase.
Yeah.
Yes. So what haven't we covered, Nicole? Anything that we haven't talked about? I know that Greta talked about the tax season and the fact that we were helping folks that were coming in for tax appointments, not only in Presque Isle where you three are located, but in our Holton office and in our Fort Kent office. When folks were coming in there, we were able to do on the spot HEAP appointments, which was really helpful. What haven't we covered?
Gosh, I think we covered just about all of it, really. Yeah, I mean, it was a busy season, but
It was busy.
I'm glad it slowed down a little bit.
Actually, let's talk about that, Becky. Let's talk about what you're working on now and what things are looking like for next season and when things might start back up again.
Well, what we're working on right now is finishing up this season. We still have a few files to certify. We're working on a work plan for next season to send in to Maine Housing. The season will start around August 1st, I'm thinking. So we're going to our team is going to cross train. We're going to be busy in the off season trying to make sure that everybody is trained. So if we have people out for illnesses or appointments or days off, we have somebody to cover. That's very important to us. A few weeks back, we had about 6 or 7 people out a couple days, and we were able to cover everything because we were cross-trained.
Great.
So
I know we also just this past weekend had team members in Holton at the trade show in Holton, and coming up at the end of the month, on the last of the month here in Madawaska is the Top of Maine trade show, and we'll have members of your team there, both checking in on potential WERP applicants and folks that might be eligible for the Winter Energy Relief Program that are over income for Home Energy Assistance Program, but also the opportunity to do a check to see if we can get them in for an appointment and get them in the schedule for next fall, late summer and fall when we're doing appointments. So we want to make sure that we invite folks to stop by our booth at the Top of Maine trade show and connect with us if they're at all worried about how they're going to heat their home in the coming season. Check to see if they might be eligible for WERP and if we can get them into the calendar for a Home Energy Assistance Program appointment later this year for the new season. So I want to make sure we get that message out there as well. All right, ladies, thank you so much, not only for being my guests here on ACAP Today this week, but also for all of the great work and the hard work that you do. And I know that some of those calls, I've had conversations with all three of you. Some of those calls are just very difficult and heart-wrenching, and really folks are scared, genuinely scared. And I thank you for your ability to help keep them safe, warm, and help calm them in difficult and challenging times, because it is a challenging time for us all with the cost of everything, but certainly for our particularly vulnerable friends and neighbors here in Aroostook County. And you all do a fantastic job making sure that folks are taken care of. And so thank you for all of that.
Thank you.
Before we leave you and before we leave all of you watching out there, we want to bring you, as we do at each point before we leave you on ACAP Today, our snapshot of the week. This week's snapshot of the week features yours truly and Sherry Locke, our Director of Advancement, and Gloria Duncan, ACAP's Executive Assistant, who received from Aroostook Council for Healthy Families, I should say, some goodies and posters for outside of our facilities to recognize National Child Abuse Prevention Month, which is this month, April. We certainly want to thank our partners and friends at Aroostook Council for Healthy Families for all of their work to help families thrive and prevent child maltreatment here in Aroostook County. Our sincere thanks to them for all of their efforts. That's this week's Snapshot of the Week. And that's this week's edition of ACAP Today. We'll be back next week with a brand new edition, and we'll see you then. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.